Hi there. Welcome in. It's so good to see you today. Please, come on in. Make yourself comfortable. It's a really cold day today, isn't it? Here, let me get you a cozy blanket. Feel free to wrap yourself up in it. I've also got some tea over here. Peppermint, chamomile, or maybe a hot cocoa. Whatever feels good for you. I sensed that there was a lot on your mind and in your heart as soon as you walked in the door. Tell me, how are you feeling as we move closer to the holiday season? Thank you for sharing that. It's completely valid to feel the way you do. This time of year stirs up so much emotion, doesn't it? For some people, the holidays bring joy and excitement, but for others, they can feel more complex, stressful, overwhelming, or even a little lonely. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay if your experience doesn't match the glittering, picture-perfect version of the holidays that we tend to see so often in movies or on social media. The truth is, there's no right way to feel or celebrate this time of year. Your emotions are welcome here exactly as they are. Now, let's spend some time unpacking all of this. We'll explore the feelings you've been having, where they might be coming from, and how we can create some space for comfort, balance, and even joy. We'll take things step by step. No rush, no pressure. How does that sound? Great. Let's start with something really simple. I'd like you to pause for a moment and just notice what you're feeling right now. Don't judge it and don't try to change it. Just notice. Maybe it's stress or sadness. Maybe it's a little frustration. Or maybe it's a mix, some light, some heavy. Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. One of the biggest challenges of the holiday season is that it tends to bring up a whole mix of emotions. For some people, it's a time of happiness and connection, but for others, it can feel bittersweet or even painful. Have you ever felt like you were supposed to feel happy during the holidays, but didn't? You're definitely not alone in that. There's so much pressure to feel joyful at this time of the year. And when your emotions don't match that expectation, it can feel isolating. But here's the thing. The holidays don't erase the ups and downs of life. It's okay to feel a range of emotions: joy, sadness, nostalgia, stress, all at once. In fact, the holidays can actually highlight the things we're struggling with. Maybe it's a difficult memory or the absence of someone you love. Maybe it's the stress of trying to meet expectations, your own or someone else's. Do you feel like the holidays tend to bring out certain emotions for you? Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you've been holding on to a lot, and I just want to take a moment to honor that. These feelings aren't something you need to fix or push away. They're a part of your experience, and they're totally valid. One thing that can help is letting go of the idea that you need to feel a certain way to have a successful holiday. What if, instead of trying to force joy or cheer, you allowed yourself to feel whatever comes up? Joy can coexist with sadness. Gratitude can coexist with grief. There's no wrong combination. Let's talk a bit more about where these feelings might be coming from. Often our emotions during the holidays are connected to specific triggers. For some, it may be strained family dynamics. For others, it might be grief or loneliness, or even financial pressures. Does any of that resonate with you at all? Family dynamics can be especially tricky, can't they? The holidays often bring people together, but that doesn't mean everyone magically gets along. If there's tension or conflict, it can feel like walking on eggshells, or like you're being pulled in too many directions. One thing I'd suggest is setting boundaries, not in a way that shuts people out, but in a way that protects your energy. For example, you could decide ahead of time how long you'll stay at a gathering, or let people know which topics you are comfortable discussing and which ones are off limits. What kind of boundaries might feel helpful for you this year? Yeah, that sounds like a really thoughtful approach. Boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, but they're such an important way of taking care of yourself. Another common trigger during the holidays is grief. Missing someone who isn't here, whether it's because of distance or loss. That absence can feel especially sharp during this season, can't it? If you're missing someone, I want you to know that it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel that ache, even if others around you seem happy or carefree. Grief doesn't have to be hidden. It's a reflection of love, after all. Sometimes finding a way to honor the person you're missing can bring a sense of connection. Maybe you light a candle for them, or prepare their favorite dish, or even share a memory of them with someone you trust. Is there a tradition or gesture that feels meaningful to you? Something that might help you keep their memory close? Yeah, that's a beautiful idea. It's a great way of holding them in your heart while still creating space for your own experience. And then there's financial stress, something so many people feel at this time of year. The pressure to buy gifts, host gatherings, and decorate can all add up quickly, especially when budgets are tight. One thing I like to encourage is focusing on the meaning behind the season rather than the material side. For example, instead of buying gifts for everyone, you might write letters, or bake something, or spend time doing an activity together. What would it feel like to simplify your celebrations in that way? Yeah, I think that's a wonderful approach. When we focus on connection and intention, it can take so much of the pressure off. Let's talk about expectations for a moment. The holidays often come with this unspoken idea that everything should be perfect. The decorations, the meals, the family gatherings. But life isn't a holiday movie, is it? real life is messy and imperfect, and that's okay. What if, instead of aiming for perfect, you focused on what feels meaningful to you? Not every moment has to be magical. Some can just be simple, even ordinary, and still bring comfort. Can you think of one small, meaningful thing you'd like to include in your holiday this year? Yeah, that's such a lovely idea. It doesn't have to be big or elaborate, just something that brings you a sense of peace or joy. One thing I like to remind people is that traditions don't have to stay the same forever. If the old ones don't fit anymore, you can create new ones. Maybe it's as simple as having a quiet morning to yourself, or starting a new ritual that feels right for where you are now. What kind of tradition, big or small, might feel good to start this year? I love that. Traditions are about connection to yourself, to others, or even to the moment. It's okay if they evolve over time. When things feel overwhelming, it's helpful to have some tools to ground yourself. Let's explore a few together. One technique I'd recommend is mindfulness, bringing yourself back to the present moment. Would you like to try a quick grounding exercise with me? Okay, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do that again. Breathe in and out. Now, notice 5 things you can see. Look around the space you're in. Maybe it's the texture of a blanket, the way the light falls on the wall, or even the pattern on your mug. Next, notice 4 things you can touch. Maybe it's the warmth of your tea, the feel of your clothes, or the softness of a pillow. Now, listen for 3 things you can hear. Maybe it's the faint hum of your surroundings, the sound of your own breath, maybe the sound of my voice, or even just a subtle quietness. Finally, notice 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste. How are you feeling? Grounding exercises like this can help when your thoughts feel scattered or overwhelming. Another tool you might try is journaling. Sometimes writing can help you process what's on your mind. If you're not sure where to start, here are a couple of prompts. What is one thing I'm grateful for this season? What is one small way I can bring comfort to myself today? Even just a few minutes of writing can bring clarity and calm. The holidays can feel isolating at times, especially if you're not surrounded by family or close friends. But connection doesn't have to look a certain way. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend for a coffee chat, joining a local community event, or even volunteering. Giving back can bring a sense of warmth and purpose. It reminds us that we're all connected, even in small ways. What kinds of connections feel most meaningful to you right now? That's wonderful. Sometimes even the smallest gestures, a phone call, a shared meal, can create a sense of closeness. Finally, I want to remind you to be kind to yourself. You don't have to do it all, and you don't have to feel joyful every moment. The holidays don't require perfection, they just require presence. Now let's end with a few affirmations. You can say them silently or aloud, whatever feels right. I am allowed to feel what I feel. I deserve peace, comfort, and care this holiday season. No matter what the holidays look like, I am enough. Now, take a deep breath in and out. Thank you for spending this time with me today. You're doing so well. Remember, I'm here if you need to talk again. Please, take care of yourself.